Welcome to this week's Point of Disorder, where it's fair to say shit is heating up. I'm Julie.
I'm Gina.
I'm Norris. Hi.
Well, it's heating up outside. It's heating up in the State House. It's heating up everywhere. Guess what is happening right now as we're recording? You'll never guess because actually you might, because this is so on brand for the GOP. They brought basically a pedophile in to testify today.
Unfortunately,
Alleged.
that's a much longer list than you'd care to think. But who was it this time?
It's Ted Nugent. He is, at the time of this record, testifying in the State House about something related to quote unquote conservation and deer and shit. But I can't watch this man and take him seriously because this is a dude who literally adopted his 17-year-old girlfriend so he would be able to marry her.
The Matt Gaetz playbook, eh? But excuse me, but
Tip for any wannabe pedophiles out there:
Yeah,
you just go
it's-
and simply adopt them or become their guardian if they're too young to marry.
Yeah.
it's ridiculous. But yeah, he was in the Michigan Senate, the Michigan House today, talking about basically deregulating the hunting industry in Michigan so people can shoot more deer, which some people want, some people don't want. But I just laughed because in his lower third, it said nothing about him being a musician. It literally said Ted Nugent, Michigan outdoorsman, which, I mean, like...
Because his music is shit.
You have to be outdoors to listen to it.
Yeah.
I had to laugh when you said it, and I mean maybe some people find this funny, but one of his points was that Michigan used to be the #1 hunting state in the United States, and for me that's just kind of funny because wouldn't you like to be #1 maybe in education or healthcare?
No, killing.
Killing.
That's what we need to be #1 in. Listen, I know there are people who hunt all over this state. There's a big hunting season, but for me, like I don't care, man. Like cut your high beams on and don't hit the deers while you drive through the wooded areas. I don't know, maybe that's what you should do.
So what was the point of him being there? Obviously the Republicans brought him to the State House. What was the point? Was there any point of him being there, Gina, apart from...
No, just a lot of false flags about the Second Amendment came up. Like this was just a dog and pony show.
And I believe he was open carrying when he went in there. Is that right?
That's right, Julie. He had a gun strapped to him, which is technically not allowed. The State House does have legislation that allows for members to open carry if you have a CPL, or people who work there, but not guests. So he was not following the law.
So this is my thing, and this continues to be like the frustrating part about all this is that like why do we keep fudging the rules for everything, and the GOP fudges the rules and just keeps pushing the line further and further and further to a point where I guarantee you nobody's even gonna write about that part. Like nobody's gonna write about that. Or just a normal citizen, just this dude could just open carry in the chambers of the House.
But how was he able to get in there? I mean, surely if you're open carrying, and that the rule for the House is that you can only open carry if you're a member or whatever. I don't understand how they just let him walk in there. So does that mean that I can walk in there and open carry?
Why don't we try it?
We should.
We
I'm
should
gonna try that.
But I'm just
Try
saying,
that.
you let a dude who's literally called the Motor City Madman into the halls of the of the Michigan Congress with a weapon.
Yeah.
It just blows the mind. But also the Senate had an important vote today too, though, didn't it?
Yeah, so a lot of the people in government right now, especially in local government, have kind of run on this like transparency theme. Like, we will be pro more transparency in government. There's been stuff coming up about FOIA requests. But today, the Michigan Senate voted in favor of a bill that would significantly expand the allowed reasons for our government to have closed door chambers. So where sessions now, overwhelming majority are open to the public and press, they've just added a whole swath of reasons where they can decide, no, this is a closed session. The people are not allowed in it.
I mean, listen, this is the kind of stuff that makes people not believe in the system. It makes people want to remove themselves from the system and not vote and not support candidates and not engage with political discourse and just completely step out of it. Because listen, part of the actual cool part about our government is that I can go on YouTube and watch people say some dumbass stuff in Congress. But the more we close that off, the more they are then allowed to say dumbass stuff and nobody knows about it. And then we just have a law that all of us are supposed to obey and we don't know why.
And this was actually like a lot of Democrats voted yes on this. It wouldn't have passed without bipartisan approval. And Democrats like Dana Polhanke were all for, you know, shutting down transparency.
I mean, it takes away the trust. I think that's to your point. If we worry about why people don't come out to vote or they don't give a shit or they disengage, it's because they've lost trust. They've literally, you know, they're like, think these people aren't representing me. I mean, I'm interested to know what that list is eventually of reasons that they can, the expanded list that they can now go behind closed doors.
We
and
can try to FOIA it, but I don't know that they would let
Maybe if we go up there open carrying and go in and see if that works.
No, it should be in the bill, which we should find out about.
Yeah. Anyway, it's anyone wondering why people don't give a shit about politics anymore? There's a good reason.
Yeah, and you know, just to both of those points, it's already easy to get to that information, but it's not widely sort of shared with everybody, right?
No.
So you kind of have to know where to go to even get the information, and you know, watch the streams or see the reports, see the House resolutions or the bills that come through. And now they're making that more difficult for people. And that's the part to me that continues to be a disservice to particularly like young voters who just are kind of just getting used to like the cadence of politics.
So that's why people have to follow us, Nora.
That's right.
Correct.
That's right.
Can I ask a quick question to my friends here that know far more about this than me? Because it's in secret, so it's behind closed doors, do the media get to witness it?
No.
So literally no one.
No one.
No one. Holy shit, that is that is a kick in the guts to government transparency.
That's why everybody should be following us because we will report on the things that you won't see, that they don't want you to,
We have secret sources.
Well, we do because, let's talk about what happened over the weekend, guys. So we were privy to get the time and place of the secret location that Kristi Noem came to Detroit to hold this round table with people like John James on oh my God, the horror coming from the northern border. So I love this because I always go out of town for the worst shit, and then Julie has to go instead. I'm sorry.
It's all right. It's okay. I was only pulled up by the police twice, so it was fine.
Yeah.
Regale. So Norris, you were there also. Regale us with your tale of woe.
Yeah. So in the confines of New Center Detroit, Kristi Noem and a bunch of local
Clowns.
Republican. Clowns. We're having this roundtable about this northern border crisis, which is not a thing. It's not a real thing. I've lived in Detroit my entire life. I have never heard of us outside of the Purple Gang in the 1930s during Prohibition, shuffling booze across the river. We haven't had a border crisis since then. And they just came here to sort of manufacture this crisis. And so we figured, let's go down there and check it out, of which we were absolutely denied access. But
still social persona non grata.
Absolutely.
Not just us, though. There were other major news organizations that weren't allowed in there as well.
And I thought this was very poignant. I won't give away his name, but there was a journalist there who was a representative of NPR, National Public Radio, who I got a chance to talk to for a second. And he flat out, I was like, bro, you're NPR. What do you mean? Literally the federal government pays for you to have a job and you can't go and cover the federal government. And he gave me this look bro. And, I kind of understood. Listen, NPR is currently embroiled in the same big, beautiful bill that everybody else is. They're fighting to keep their funding. And so it's very clear that the GOP doesn't even want their own internal media apparatus to have access to what they're doing.
Particularly this event where it was just all like lies being
Yeah.
spewed and propaganda. Like, so, I mean, Julie, you were telling me like half the stuff she was saying, she then went and contradicted herself later on.
There was so much. It was like, I don't even know. It felt like 10 hours of listening to this shit, but I think it was only an hour. But first of all, John James was like so far up her ass. It was embarrassing. Like, I'm like, I've never seen you be.
That's his superpower is ass kissing
Oh my
because
God.
when you see the clips of him like that he posts on his Twitter, like just getting all the way up Donald Trump's ass, like
pathetic.
ass kissing is his superpower.
It was like so pathetic. Anyway, first of all, Kristi Noem, Secretary Noem is the most successful woman ever in politics. I mean, you're fucking kidding me? Like, seriously, dude.
Above like Hillary Clinton or
Nancy
Kamala Harris or
Pelosi.
Nancy
Yeah.
Pelosi
Yeah.
or
Anyway.
Condoleezza Rice.
I mean-
or, the list goes on.
I mean, a list of achievements include being basically banned for most of her state that she was
Yeah, that's
governor
right.
of South Dakota, in which part of her speech was basically they had a guy there who was an Indigenous person from South Dakota there to basically suck up her ass as well and tell her how amazing she was. So there was so much cognitive dissonance in that room. It just blew me away. But a couple of things that really stood out. One of her quotes was,
You've seen on the news some of the riots and violence. A lot of this is professionalized, funded by socialists, by communists, by dangerous criminals to create this kind of disturbance in our cities to try to scare us off from really bringing public safety. And we will not. We will stand strong.
that was her talking about the protests in LA and basically saying they're coming here to Detroit. You know, you had an example of those over the weekend in the No Kings marches, et cetera, so full of shit. Then they had our very favourite person there, Gina, the sheriff, Mike Murphy.
From Livingston
County, yeah.
Oh, hey, Mikey.
Disappointed he didn't recognise me. But anyway, he was...
We were in his shed with all of his cars.
We were. He was touting, you know,
The sheriff's shed.
yeah, he's basically touting all the times that immigrants have basically fucked up his county. I mean, I think there's 2 immigrants in his Livingston County. It's not exactly. He had 2 examples.
I mean, but the thing that's so kind of silly and frustrating with that is that this platform of lies is then being used to craft not just legislation, but narrative around this stuff.
Yeah.
Anybody who has ever lived in Metro Detroit will tell you, we love Canada.
Yeah.
Like, we love going to Canada. Canadians love coming here up until fairly recently. And like that exchange between these two places is really important and vital to the economy, whether it be in Detroit or Port Huron or whatever. And now, because of, you know, Kristi Noem decides to show up and says, like, they're going to come to Detroit and do the same thing. You got Shriver in the State House, who's now introducing new House resolutions to say, like, ICE and local police should cooperate more and all this other stuff.
I'm so glad you brought this up because they had a guy on there called Jim Tignanelli, and he's the president of the Michigan Police Association. Now, he had a lot to say, this dude. He was very excited to tell Secretary Noem, I encourage you to engage our 83 county sheriffs, our police officers, our police in townships and cities because we all want to help. We don't have anybody here in Michigan trying to stop the ICE guys. Like, he was basically inviting her and saying, yep, we're going to help you. So all the police, all the sheriffs, all of them.
And the very next week,
Yep.
you see, I believe it was HR 128.
Yeah.
There you go. So that thread is completely made. It's been there, and it happened over the course of 6 days to where Kristi Noem drops down in Detroit, says a thing, and the GOP in the House is already drafting legislation for it. Like, that's how efficient this stuff is, y'all.
Pretty amazing and quite interesting. Anyway, a lot was said. The one thing that amused me greatly, though, and I think this is a thread that keeps continuing on, we've heard about it quite a bit, is the number of they kept oscillating on whether or not they were having trouble keeping ICE and police staff at the moment. One minute they're saying, we've never had so many people applying and being recruited to work for ICE and for law enforcement. The next minute it's like, oh, we're going to have to bring in retirees because we can't get enough people.
So which is it? Is ICE beloved by Michiganders, or are they not able to recruit them because they have a bad reputation?
Hard to tell after 1 hour of oscillating, Gina. I came away being equally as confused.
Well, but we did have another chance to get John James just the other day.
This I'm going to need a drink for because this was fun.
Please, because a friend of ours happened upon a invitation to John James's, it was kind of like a fundraiser for his gubernatorial campaign. So in addition to being one of the biggest bootlicking Congress people right now, he's also running to be the governor of Michigan. So that's why we take a particular interest in him. So he had this fundraising event at this hotel where it's minimum $500 a night for a room.
Easily one of the bougiest hotels in Michigan.
So, a man for the people. So we just pulled up there, and Julie and I decided, you know what, we'll go to the Townsend. I made dinner reservations at the Rugby Grill, and we sat and we had a lovely meal and a nice cocktail also. Mm-hmm. And then JJ walks by. And we just had our friend Jack with us, and we're like, Jack got up and was like, hey, John James. And he just turned and smiled because he said, oh, if you're sitting here eating in this expensive restaurant, you've got to be a fan, right? No.
That's it. Hey, John James.
What's going on?
Very excited for your campaign.
Oh, thank you so much.
Vote to take away healthcare and food from kids?
Absolutely not. We got to save Medicaid. We have to make sure that our kids are taken care of. We absolutely must save Medicaid and protect our kids.
Thank you.
Why don't you go against that?
We absolutely not. We're saving Medicaid.
It was so funny because you can see we've done this to him so many times, and his face drops with shock.
Yeah.
Straight away. He is so ambivalent. He honestly thinks that everybody loves him.
Yeah.
There is just an assumption, no matter where you are, that you're part of his fan club.
It's because these people rarely leave their echo chamber.
It's true.
They're in these hermetically sealed environments at all times. So when they're out meeting people in the real world and get a more diverse opinion, they they don't know how to react.
So does he just run? Does he actively try to engage you? Because to me, I feel like if I was a politician, I would use that as an actual moment to try to engage somebody that disagrees
He
with
never
me.
stops to talk. He's a walker and talker. He went to shake Jack's hand when he thought Jack was there to, blow more sunshine up his ass. And then when he realized oh, you're asking me a tough question, because we approached him and Jack was like, you just voted to gut Michiganders' health care and food assistance programs. People are going to die because of the bill you voted on. It was just the lies fell out of his mouth so easily. It was ridiculous. He literally said to us he voted to expand Medicaid. We all know that is not what
true.
he did.
Yeah.
It was opposite day in his brain.
And then he went in there, and we decided we'd wait and see if we can catch him on the way out, just for another just for shits and giggles, right? And we were enjoying our martinis. It was a nice evening.
Yeah.
So anyway, he basically hid in there until such time as they came out and confirmed that we'd left the building. Because I sat outside waiting to see where he's going to come from. And literally, I'm looking in the window and he's sitting there talking to one person. There's one person left at this fundraiser.
Yeah, I got to say, the fundraiser
was not well attended.
No, maybe
and I
25
and I
people.
did wish everyone well as they walked in and asked, basically wished them that they would have the day that they voted for. Every person that went there was welcomed by me personally. So, anyway, he did leave, but only I think after we left the building. So, but yeah, there you go, John James. We're going to get you again and again and again. So don't think you can fucking hide.
Yeah. One of the
so
things
scary.
one of the things he said was we're not having a sanctuary state if I have anything to do with it. So you know what? You want to go and pretend that there's some kind of civil war happening, fine. But using fear mongering to scare people into voting for you is like such the shittiest tactic ever.
It's not just that it's shitty. I'm starting to feel like it's having diminishing returns because people, I mean, we're going to talk about it later, but I mean, that's what happened in New York. You had one candidate who used fear mongering tactics. You had another candidate who said, I just got good ideas, bro. And the good idea got won. But we'll get further into that.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that Kristi Noem and John James both agreed on was the 1,000% increase in illegal encounters at the northern border under Biden. I'm sitting there going, what the fuck? We're on the northern
That's
border.
not a real number.
They just
which
made
part
shit
of
up.
it? Like
That's not a real number.
1,000% increase. Like, was there one? Then it went to like...
No, it's just totally made up.
Yeah, that's not a real
Unbelievable.
number.
Doesn't
Anyway.
live in reality
No.
whatsoever. But like everybody, like check our socials later in the week because of course we had the camera rolling when we talked to John James. Like, why wouldn't we? And speaking of clips, did you guys see the clip of Tucker Carlson talking about the like secretly gay Republicans? Oh my God, I'll play it for you.
You notice that like a huge percentage of war-crazed Republican senators are secretly gay? What is that? Are they? Yeah. Like, what is the ones who are secret about?
It's just, yeah. Yeah.
So looking at you, Lady G, Lindsey Graham. Oh, my God.
There's a couple of them.
Yeah.
I mean, they are frothing at the mouth to go to war with Iran.
I know
Like,
it.
it's just like,
Yeah.
and we all know, like, this is not gonna end well for anyone.
Here's the thing about not just Iran, but just about the whole thing, right? Is that I was in high school when 9/11 happened, and so like I was prime age to be like, oh my God, when I graduate, I'm going to get drafted. And I understand why there's plenty of people in the country now who felt the same way, because there are some parallels here. Like there's some parallels between like the WMDs and the yellow cake, and you know, well, at least Colin Powell went to the UN, but you know, like there's so many parallels here between now and you know our impetus for war into the Iraq war, that I just feel like this is so much worse because it's being executed by significantly more incompetent people.
Yeah.
That I am more afraid of what could possibly happen. But so far, it's, you know, it's Keystone Cops. Like
I said to Jeannie
Yeah.
yesterday, I said, I feel like every time I like look at something, turn on the TV, whatever it is, it's like, I feel like it's my dating life in my 20s. It's like on again, off again, war, not war. Like it's fucking weird.
Yeah.
Like it's just going back and forth. No one, it is like Keystone Cops. It's
Yeah.
like no one seems to know what's happening, who's in charge. And I think the other thing, it's a fucking huge divide over a country thousands, tens of thousands of miles away that 90% of people can't even point to on a map.
yeah, there was an actual infographic going
Some people
around
thought that
stating
Iran was in Australia. There was a
I
large
saw
portion.
that. I saw that. Oh my God. If you can't locate the country, you don't get to weigh in on the discussion.
No, in the whole concept of it just continues to be ridiculous. I mean, reports coming out saying they don't even know where the uranium at. They don't know if they've even destroyed the bunker. Like, how are we even allowing these people to have wartime powers when they can't even execute they can't even execute treachery properly? Yeah. Like that's the part that I'm trying to figure out.
Trump's like foreign policy edicts are over Truth Social. Like you're gonna ceasefire now.
yeah.
Like no, I mean like that's not diplomacy.
It is now. Hey, and they say that women are too emotional to lead. I'm sorry. I'm watching these dudes and
Like,
just going,
with
what
this-
the fuck?
with that-
Me on
Literally
men,
posting his policy from the shitter. You know he is in all
But like
caps.
what that was, like, have you ever had like two friends who were fighting and then like you just got in a group chat and was like, guys, stop. Like it's
I know,
not
it's embarrassing.
It's
Yeah,
not this
exactly.
serious. Like that's what this is that Trump is using Truth Social like a group chat and he's trying to get those two to stop fighting. And then when they don't stop fighting, he went to the press, which is his fourth friend who's not in the group chat, and just screams about how both of them are stupid and they don't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Like, this is the most inept stuff I've ever seen in my life. Like, the only thing that was more inept was like the beginning of COVID, where like, you know, inject yourself with bleach and stuff like that. Like, this is the only thing to me is that was worse.
But I feel like part of it is intentional, right? Because you listen to the
They want
actual...
to create the chaos.
They do. And if you watch, I did turn on the TV on the weekend because I was very concerned about, I've never been in a country that's gone to war like this. So I'm like, okay, what does this mean? What happens? And literally I was watching the TV, CNN and all of those, and they're basically like cheerleading for it. It was really fucking weird.
They were.
It was very weird to me.
The other thing that makes the cheerleading that you're seeing on the like legacy media, like CNN and Fox and all of them, like their ratings significantly go up during this type of stuff.
Yeah.
So they're going to be milking this for every ounce they can get out of it. But like, it should be noted, and like you haven't been here when the U.S. has started other wars. When we went into Afghanistan in 2001, the beginning of that war had an 88% approval rate, okay? When we went into Iraq 2 years later, 71% approval rating, okay? Fast forward to Iran, this new war at the start only has 21% of people in this country behind it. So, I mean, there is this bizarre like disconnect between what we're seeing in the media, how people are actually feeling, and then like how our elected officials are talking about it. Because we published a piece yesterday on, where all of our Congress people stand on this war. And there were really only two that kind of reflected the sentiment of the people. And that was Debbie Dingell and Rashida Tlaib.
Yeah.
Everyone was either like a warmonger or like not really like saying where they were, like very walking the line.
Do we feel like that? What's the reason for that? Like, I ask that genuinely because it's like, why the fuck? Literally, innocent people, another world war is going to kill innocent people, including a shit ton of Americans. So to me, it's like, why the fuck would you be like barracking for this shit? I've got no idea.
This is, me and just my very limited geopolitical knowledge, this is my opinion, is that the vast majority of elected officials do support nuclear disarmament of Iran. That this is something that they are okay.
But here's
with.
the thing that's a misnomer, because Iran doesn't have nuclear weapons.
They don't have them. But they still believe this trope that somehow they'll get them when there's been no indicators.
But they signed the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty. There are other countries, I'm not going to mention who they are, that have not signed that. And the countries that do have nukes are like America, Israel, China, all of those peace-loving countries. Peace-loving,
Russia.
Pakistan, India. So it's like, why are we so... I mean, I get it. There's a long history between Iran and Israel, and it's I am so far out of my depth in terms of the geopolitical situation. But I'm just saying, if you're representing the people, you would think that your thoughts and your there should be some nuance there, right? There should be some conversations about how we do this. And remember that fucking Trump is the one that took down the treaty that was already in place. The agreement
I was just about to say, we did it, though.
That Obama had put in place so that they wouldn't basically...
we had it in place. We had already used the diplomatic solution, and Iran was like, okay, cool, we'll do it. And we got there, and Trump dismantled it just because he wanted to dismantle something Obama did.
He wants a Nobel Peace Prize, and this is his really fucking
by bombing
lazy,
things,
that's his
fantastic.
lazy
So
way
it's
of
really
getting
funny
it.
because a little over a week ago, Pakistan nominated him, and then immediately after we bombed Iran, they put out a statement kind of being like, fuck that guy. Nope.
They don't want
Fucking clowns.
Yeah, they don't want Iran to be able to have the biggest bargaining chip on planet Earth, which is a nuke.
And I get it. Like, Iran is not it's not a good player, but we can all agree on that.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's just, anyway, there are other ways to go about it. I'm not an expert.
I'm just saying, listen.
This is one thing, though, that like Democrats and Republican voters agree
Oh my
on.
God,
and
Gina.
the voters don't want this war.
I know that both of us this week have like agreed with Tucker Carlson. Like we've got a long list of fucking
Marjorie
Taylor Greene. It's like holy shit.
Like when you see AOC and Marjorie Taylor Greene basically put out the same tweet,
Yeah.
you are firmly in bizarro land. Like you have found a way to make that horseshoe a circle. Like it's ridiculous.
I want our elected officials, who the people elected to represent us, for once fucking reflect the like our sentiments in the way you vote or the rhetoric you put out. And I'm not seeing enough of that.
Because I mean, at the end of the day, the people that are going to go to war are going to be the same. It's always. Sorry, Norris.
I'm not going. I'm too old.
I know you're too old, but I'm just saying.
But it is. It's
young
people,
black
poor people, black
poor
people, Latino people.
You know, exactly. They're the people. That's the cannon fodder. So at the end of the day, it's like, you wonder why these people don't come out and vote for you. Well, you do this shit.
Yeah. I mean, I just hope they don't try to flip this into some weird, like, patriotism kick. And it looks like so far that's not working. But
They're doing that, and then they're also using this like trope about anti-Semitism.
Yeah.
Yeah, which
it's
is
a huge split. This is creating huge, like Humpty Dumpty is so fucking broken right now. I don't know
But
how
the
we
problem
put it back
is,
together.
like, our elected officials aren't, they're not kind of like breaking that down and saying, like, we can be against a government and not against the people or
Yeah.
religion. Like, there's no critical thinking around this. There's no, like, leading the people on how to think about it. There's a lot of propaganda out there, but there's very few people actually breaking it down and saying, like, this is a bad thing for everybody involved, and this is why I'm against it, like you, the people, are.
But don't you think that part of that is intentional? It's to create further divide.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, if we somehow bring people together and have them agree on something, that's going to be problematic. They'd rather basically split everybody up.
But it's the exact opposite. In this sense, this is the exact opposite of what happened in the sort of post 9/11 era, where you did have this galvanizing of tragedy that allowed the whole country all at the same time to be on the same page. But you've purposefully already you've poisoned the pool already. The well was poisoned before you even did this, and then you attack Iran, and further poison the pool. And now you get to a point where some of the most nuanced takes on Israel, on Iran, on Palestine are coming from people like Candace Owens, and that is ridiculous. That is objectively not how I want this narrative to go, but that's where we are right now, and it's very disappointing.
What is very frightening to me is I'm very worried about broke girl summer. As you know, it's something very close to my heart. And gas prices are going to go through the roof, are they not?
Absolutely. If Iran closes the Strait of Hormuz, which they over the weekend voted to do so, but they've as of recording, they've yet to position any warships to do so or blockade the Strait of Hormuz. But if they do that, get ready to be in the house for the whole summer, because no one is going anywhere. Ain't no flying, ain't no driving, no road trips, no going to the beach, no nothing. Stay at the house. That's it, because it's about to be back like 2003, 2004. Y'all remember when gas was like $6-7 a gallon? I remember it. It was terrible. I was so upset.
Those electric cars are going to be looking quite good at this point, won't they?
But they're going to be more expensive because of the tariffs. No one will be able to buy anything or do anything, okay?
Buckle up, broke girls.
It's going to be like baby COVID. It's going to be like lockdown, but not because of a disease, because we're all
I feel
poor.
like this might be a disease, but anyway.
Yeah, brain rot is what it is. Anyway, Gina,
be.
let's talk about something happy.
Can I talk to you about my ancestral homeland of New York
Of New
City?
York.
Oh, yeah. I was like, where are you going here?
Absolutely.
Because, like, yes, like, for once we were finally getting the mayor we deserve. We just had the New York City mayoral primaries where we had wide-ranging candidates from a disgraced ex-governor who has 13 sexual harassment claims against him and has pretty much committed fraud, but he disbanded the
Let's call it mismanagement.
governmental group that was like looking into fraud, so they couldn't investigate his case.
Correct.
So it was him versus basically a democratic socialist, Zohran Mamdani, were like the top two. And New York has ranked choice voting, so there were 5 candidates in total. Like it was like a clear, like one candidate was out there energizing like the electorate, getting new voters like jazzed up and like buying into it. Like young people here at the Democratic Party, we're constantly talking about like, how do we get like young people and young men? Well, you know what? Fucking Zohran got young men. Like they overwhelmingly white young men voted for him. Okay, not the serial sexual harasser that the establishment like coalesced behind. Like this is like the perfect example of like why we need to get like super PAC money out of politics, because like Cuomo had like he outspent Zohran by like 3 to 1.
Bloomberg invested $8 million on the campaign. This is a fucking mayoral campaign.
Yeah.
He dropped $8 million.
It's ridiculous. Listen.
Cuomo's super PAC spent more than double the amount that the entire DNC has in the bank right now.
It's insane.
So, and he couldn't overcome a grassroots democratic socialist movement by a candidate who really appealed to voters across race, gender, and ethnicity for the most part. Like he had good policies and he had the riz to go with it.
So one thing that all of the billionaire Democrats can agree on is they do not want actual liberals anywhere near fucking power. That's basically the uptake on it. I had to laugh. I saw that there was a memo put out by, I think it was like Third Way, who basically said his win will mean that Republicans will start tying Democrats to democratic socialism. So basically saying that everyone's gonna be calling us socialists from now on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like,
I know,
okay,
but
they
that's
already
the
do.
threat.
They are, first of all, they already do. But here's the thing, right? And as the young man on the panel today, Mamdani's campaign is, I think, could potentially be a watershed moment for liberals in America. Here's why I say this, and for progressives
If
in
you
particular.
think that our like Democrats are able to learn, yes.
Yes,
I think we have some debate to have here. Let's go.
But I mean the electorate, not so much the establishment, right? Because what this showed is that you take a guy and you allow him to run the campaign that he wants to run, to talk to the people that he wants to talk to, and to do it in a way that's organic, that's authentic to what he is. He never ran away from his background, his belief as a Muslim. He never backed out for any of his affiliations. He never backed down from any of his policies. But more than that is that he just stood on business. He's like, bro, I'm a New Yorker. I'm talking about New York stuff.
I'm gonna freeze your rent.
I'm gonna freeze rents. I'm trying to get the halal back below $10. Like these are things that people love and talk about in New York. It's the red meat stuff that people care
Cuomo
about.
had the real estate developers pumping money into his campaign.
No one can buy homes in New York.
Exactly. And like, why are you voting for the dude who you know is gonna raise your rent?
Exactly.
Like, it doesn't make sense. I just want like, rather than like spending tens of millions of dollars trying to defeat a candidate like Zohran, like why don't establishment Dems and the DNC like learn from this campaign that it's pulling in new voters and young people, and like there's excitement around this candidate. Like there's a lesson here, and I feel like our leaders aren't willing to learn it.
I, as a voter, as somebody who will hopefully be here for a lot longer than the people who are in power now, I want my politicians to be people who I potentially could run into on the street, right? That's who I want running the country, right? Now, don't get me wrong. I want
Not
them
a
to be
jackass that double parks in a fucking bike lane.
Well, not even
Cuomo.
just that. Not even just that, but like if I'm a New Yorker, I want a mayor that has spent years taking the subway. I want a mayor that knows what it's like to have to move because they got, priced out in terms of rent. I want a mayor or any leader that has those sort of connection points. I want like a mayor or a governor that knows who Kenny Omega is. Like, that makes me feel good on the inside.
I want an
because
elected
I
official
connect.
that goes into the vegetable section and doesn't start talking about crudité.
Well, that's a blast from the past.
No, but it's like Norris is right. Like, these people were born with a silver spoon. They've never led a normal life. Like, they don't know hardship. They don't know what it's like to like have their kid crying at night and you got to run to the corner bodega and get whatever, like they never lived like that. They've had Cuomo's had people to go and get him shit. Like, he's a guy who couldn't tell you how much a gallon
He's
of milk
a blue
costs.
blood. How do you empathize with the normal person?
Not only like a blue blood, why is the establishment throwing their support against this dude who's a serial sexual
So I'm
harasser?
going to have to pull you all up here, folks, and bring you back to the reality that we live in. And I think I agree. I want politicians like that as well. But I mean, at the end of the day, first of all I can hear when we're talking about, okay, so it seems like affordable housing, cost of living,
Grocery prices.
not grocery prices, not kids and civilians being killed, by bombs, healthcare for taxpayers. They all seem very popular. But right now, all I can hear is Chuck Schumer falling into his $1,000 fucking fundraiser salad right now because they'll be shooting this. Because the truth of the matter is that most of the politicians that represent us are bought and paid for.
Yeah.
And that's the system. So unfortunately, that's what we're fighting against. So, the foundation of the system's fucking broken.
It is, but I think this is why I say it's a watershed moment because, this person will be... The mayor of New York is a borderline governor in and of itself, right? It's such a powerful position of the largest city in the country. And if this is the person that the largest city in the country is saying that they want, that is a way that foundation can begin to be cracked. And I think... the more we start to see...
If we learn from this.
But I'm not talking about the establishment
I don't want to call you Holly Go Lightly there, Norris, but it's feeling a little bit like that. Hey, call me cynical.
But it should. It should. I should feel hopeful. And the reason why I should feel hopeful is because this is a slap in the face to the establishment. This is a giant punch in the face to the people who spent millions and millions of dollars to get Cuomo elected, and it didn't work. I love it.
But do we think, though, I think this is part of this moment is because Trump's been elected, right? So the shit he's been doing for the last fucking
the backlash
200 days.
Yeah.
This is a backlash, right? So do we think that come, fast forward in 18 months' time, we change the sort of, is this going to be still the same thing? Are we going to have this? We've got Michigan coming up next year. We've got the midterms. We've got governorship. We've got Secretary of State, Attorney General, and
everything's up for grabs.
Exactly.
Everything is up, but
and we do have candidates that are running for governor, that are running for
none of
all
them are
the
running
positions.
like that, though. None of them. None of them are running like that, and that's the problem. None of them. Not Duggan. Not Jocelyn Benson. None of them. Nobody running in Michigan for governor or even running in Detroit for mayor are running campaigns like that. And so, if I was going for public office right now, I'm emulating. Good artists borrow, great artists steal. I'm taking that whole campaign.
Here's the thing
and
about
I'm going with
Zohran. He was authentic. He ran who he was.
Yeah.
I don't see anyone else doing that. Everybody is wishy-washy in the middle, not really willing to take a stand for anything that could be seen as a big move one way or the other. We know universal health care polls at around 80% in Michigan. I think we only have one candidate who's running right now who is vocalized out loud that he is for universal health care. That's Abdul El Sayed. Nobody's willing to take a stand.
So, Gina, you and I spend a lot of time with these people, these candidates. We've spent, over the years, a lot of time with these people. And they will say to us up front that they're progressive, right? We have these conversations about universal health care, about, guns, about all of this stuff. However, they all seem to think that because Michigan is purple, that they have to go back towards the middle. I'm proposing to you guys that I feel like, and I'm in Norris's camp right now, is that if someone was to actually push towards the left, and I'm going to quote you, Gina, if you're cozying up to fucking fascism, you may be on the wrong side of history, right? The closer you get to fascism. So I'm going to propose that is this the time that we should be asking our candidates to step up and
Yes.
start to be. And you're right, I get the fact that authenticity is important, Gina, but a lot of these people, they say to us that they are authentically progressive. They just don't
Show me.
present themselves
Show
like
me,
that.
like show me. Like some of these candidates live in the city of Detroit. Like show me that you've gone. Show me what's your favorite Coney Island in Detroit. Like and go there and sit there and eat. Like show me that you have been stuck
But some-
behind a. Show me you've been stuck in traffic behind a queue line. Like show me.
But some of that's performative,
Like,
right? I
but-
think, but going back to what happened in New York, he was authentic. Like none of that was like
Oh, but there's still a
performative.
lot of performance even with that
Yeah, of
authenticity.
course.
My thing is, and I agree with you 100%, but what I'm saying is that if you lean on those issues plus the performance, that's how you get there. And I'm just not seeing that from anybody in Michigan right now.
Can we talk for a minute? There was a large degree of racism
Oh,
that
boy.
happened in this election. And we've seen the reactions from
Good Lord.
from the right, not just the right, from lots of people in terms of like basically, did we learn nothing from 9/11? You know, like this because
There was a
he's-
hysteria around the fact that this man could possibly be the first Muslim mayor
Yeah.
of Manhattan ever. And people were trying to paint him as anti-Semitic, something he's never been. Like, there's no proof of that. If anything, he had a pretty big coalition of secular Jewish people behind him trying to go into their communities and, like, discount this propaganda. His coalition was, like I said earlier, like, I mean, young, old, all basically all religions, all races got behind him.
Yeah.
So there was this like weird thing we were seeing online and in person where people were paying. Like, you showed us a video earlier today, Norris. Like, that blew my mind.
Yeah, there was a video from Elie Wiesel's son that literally had the mustache model, like in comparison with Mamdani, and like that's the stuff that just makes people go, that's absurd. There's no world is a person who put people in concentration camps and executed them en masse on the same level as just a Muslim dude who's running for mayor of New York. Like the level of vitriol after Mamdani's victory is so sickening, but at the same time so expected.
Yeah.
That
Laura Loomer posted like, "Oh, we're going to have another 9/11." As somebody who was in the city when 9/11 occurred, I find that extremely offensive.
Well, she's not the only one. A lot of them are like saying that. Charlie Kirk is going on. I mean, these people are very anti-immigrant, obviously, but, you know, talking about the fact that, you know, Charlie Kirk put out that London, Calgary, Rotterdam, and soon New York City, the power centers of the West, will soon all have Muslim mayors.
To quote my friend Will Smith, "Get my fucking city's name out your mouth."
No, 1,000%. And by the way, all those cities are dope. Like, have you visited London
Yeah.
or Calgary lately?
Yeah.
They're great places. They're fantastic.
And what they all have in common is a lot of fucking immigrants.
Yes.
Right? They're very diverse. They have a lot of immigrants.
as
so
all
it's like,
world-class
yeah.
cities do.
Yeah.
Like nowhere in the world that is considered a world-class city outside of maybe Tokyo has massive amounts of immigration. And I just, as a black person in America, as soon as the concession speech for Cuomo went out, I instantly opened my phone and I was like, who's gonna have the most racist take? Like, who is it gonna be? And it was like some random bot account from Israel, or at least they said they were from Israel, and straight up was just like, we asked that all Jewish people in New York move out of New York, to which Hassan Piker said, please do, so I can buy all your brownstones.
I know.
A lot of good real estate on the Upper West Side.
That's right. I'm looking for it to drop in price. Any rate, Gino, I think that we got some interesting emails and DMs this week. Who has been in our inbox?
It's always like a veritable who's who. A smorgasbord, if you will.
Have we been getting love? Any love?
You know, it's a mixed bag. It's a mixed bag. I love to talk about the shitograms, though, so I'm just going to go right for
Please
it
do.
because, you know, unfiltered today. So I got an email from Haley Stevens' campaign manager. I'm just going to back the story up with, was it 2 weeks ago, I believe? The Still Social posted on our Facebook and our Instagram about a bill that shouldn't have been controversial at all. It was a resolution, not a bill. But it became controversial because Democrats were allowed to vote yes or no on each portion individually. And everybody, almost everybody, except for Rashida Tlaib, who abstained from the vote, voted in favor of the first portion, which basically said anti-Semitism is bad. Okay, and there was some language Rashida didn't agree with in there, so she just abstained. But overwhelmingly supported across party lines. Everybody said yes to that. The second part of the resolution you could vote on separately from the first was on whether or not we should be praising ICE. It called for the praising of ICE, and it called for Congress people to allow their local law enforcement to collaborate with ICE. Okay, and Haley Stevens voted yes on that portion. About half of the Democrats dropped off from the initial vote for yes.
And I want to point out, this is the week after all of the shit went down in terms of ICE in
literally
LA.
while the LA
Exactly.
stuff was happening.
Yeah. So it was kind of it was coinciding with all of that kind of tension that was in the air.
So apparently the campaign didn't appreciate us kind of pointing out, and Haley Stevens wasn't the only Michigan representative who voted in favor of this. There were some others, but her campaign was the only one I got an email from. So the other day, her campaign manager emailed me. Should I read it? I can read it.
I think just give a summary.
Okay. He said, since we took such an interest in Haley's vote from a few weeks ago, that he said, I thought you might want to take an interest in this too. And what he did was attach an article that he had written in a local newspaper about her eyeing legislation to curb Trump's military deployments on U.S. soil. Now, the funny thing about this bill, well, first of all, it doesn't really do what it says it's going to do because it allows for caveats, right? So if a governor says, yes, bring the military onto my soil, you can do that.
You can do it.
Right.
On invitation, basically.
Right. Also, there's no way this is going to get passed. Democrats aren't getting bills passed in federal government right now.
They have no numbers.
Right. So, I mean, it's kind of funny. Also, how is this bill going to stop a president who's never followed the law ever in his life?
It doesn't.
From doing it now? I don't know. It feels performative to me.
Not to mention, I mean, I think part of this whole Iran thing is if we're at war, doesn't that expand the president's capability of doing that?
Yeah, I mean,
capacity?
We're in uncharted waters here.
We don't know. Okay.
we have no idea what's about to happen next week. That's the problem with trying to, I guess, introduce bills like that or resolutions like that, is that we have an executive who doesn't give a shit about any of it. So right now, unfortunately, it does all feel performative. But the only thing I would say to stuff like that is hit us up when it passes.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Because that's
know.
the thing you voted on that passed. That happened. If it happens, then we will absolutely hand clap you 1,000%.
Well, I mean, look, anybody wants to send me DMs or messages about, things they think we should amplify, my mailbox is always open. But this I will not be posting about.
Come back to us when it's real.
Yeah.
All
and
right.
effective.
Oh, yeah. But you know what? We want to leave today on a sad note. I hate to say it, Julie, one of your favorite people in government is now leaving his position. I'm sorry.
Big balls. I think of him like a son.
Yeah.
He's given so much to us. I think you pointed out that he's been moved a little while ago. He went to I think he went to the Homeland Security. He was moved into Homeland Security. So who is going to be keeping us safe, Norris?
I have no idea. I have no clue. I don't know.
You did mention that potentially he's probably doing that because all of the data scraping's been completed.
Yes,
so they've
yes.
successfully got all of our data.
You know what? And now I know we talked about the sort of Elon and Trump fallout a few weeks ago, but now I'm starting to think, was that just a digital false flag because now they just have a reason to dismantle Doge after Elon has pretty much scrubbed all of our personal data and taken everything about our identities and now has it on a flash drive somewhere. So I don't know, but Big Balls, he's out of there.
I know, poor bugger. All right, what are we looking forward to this week?
Oof.
Norris?
I'm going to be a nerd and say there's a couple new games coming out this weekend.
Ooh, games.
Yeah, some video games. So I'm going to be sitting down and playing a lot of video games and watching a lot of Tigers baseball, best team in baseball. So that's what I'm going to be doing.
Which games?
I believe we play. I had to look at the schedule, but I know we play this weekend. I don't care who we play. We're the best team in baseball. We're going to win.
Which video games?
Oh, which video games?
Anything I can get.
I
my
love
kids-
it. Which baseball games?
So I love that you thought for 1 minute that Gina had an interest in a sports ball game, because no, it was not.
No, there's a game coming out. It's called Death Stranding 2. It's from a producer who is very like he's like the David Lynch of video games, basically. So it's gonna be weird. It's gonna be bizarre. I'm not gonna be sober while I play it. It's gonna be fantastic.
Awesome.
What about you, Gina? What have you got to look forward to?
I should have been prepared for this. What do I have to look forward to? You know, I'm just living my best life right now. We did some like night swimming the other day when it was like super hot, and I'm just like anything that involves me not having to leave my backyard because I have a beautiful pool. I'm a woman of the people. Somebody called me the other day at like 9:30 at night, and I was literally just floating with a cocktail and enjoying myself. So this is like my no fuck summer. Like it's just all. You know, I'm a member of the We Don't Care Club. I don't know if you've seen this woman. She's gone viral, like, on, like, TikTok and Instagram. Like,
There's an Australian one as well, the We Don't Care Menopause or whatever it is.
Yeah, it's for women in perimenopause or menopause. It's the new We Don't Care Club. And I got to tell you, I'm going to join, like, I'm joining up. Like, this is it. I am officially announcing my membership.
Well, I've been a member for many years now, and so Mike Fucks to Give left quite some time ago. For me, it's going to be a little. The weather. I'm so excited to be able to sit outside, have a cocktail, enjoy company.
Normal weather for
normal
the next
weather.
week.
Yeah, like it's the last few days. Full transparency has been like swamp-like hot, which is not really to my taste. Not even for me sitting outside. So, yeah, just a bit of outdoor dining and enjoying some of this beautiful summer, 100 days of summer, and prepping for, I think next week is July 4th. So I know that you all will be prepping for your barbecues and stuff.
Absolutely. I'm going to be at my mom's house because we do a big thing.
Hey, we haven't got our invite yet, just by the way.
Listen, I already have a giant head count. I got to make sure that we got enough for everybody.
Not invited to the cookout, Julie. I don't know how I feel about this. I don't know how I feel about it.
No,
I'm going to have to speak to Pat about
you
that.
all are definitely invited to the cookout. Of course. Of
No,
course.
because you know Pat would invite you to her.
No,
Yeah,
you all are
exactly.
definitely
Yeah,
invited to the
exactly.
cookout.
How
for
do we
sure.
like feel about celebrating 4th of July this year?
Can't nobody take my country from me. Period. Like I refuse. Like the American flag. I don't want to fly the American flag. Nope, mine.
I
Like,
love that, Nora.
That's,
do like
that's
that.
just how I feel. No, but listen, as an African American, I am the most American person. Like flat out. Like my family been here for like 400 years.
I do love that for you. What about you, Gina? How do you feel about it?
I've got mixed emotions because like I'm not feeling very patriotic right now, but I do love a good barbecue. I mean, the kids love it. We'll buy the sparklers. My dog hates it. I fucking hate fireworks. I've seen amazing drone shows, and I don't know why we can't just kind of like do drones all the time now.
Gina, it's America. We need
We
explosives.
gotta blow shit up.
Duh.
I know. So my
I-
dog will literally not leave the house for the next 5 days after 4th of July.
So as an immigrant coming into this country, what I found really interesting, there's a million things that like shock you, but being able to buy fireworks off the side of the road is fucking insane.
That's just here. Like
That's
we
just
we
Michigan.
can't do that
Oh
back
my
east.
Lord.
Yeah,
Lord,
like you
that
can't
is
do it on
like-
the East Coast. You can't do it in Indiana.
Yeah.
Like people in Indiana, Illinois, and Ohio
Cross the
come to
border?
Michigan. to buy fireworks and smuggle
weird.
them back into their states.
I wonder how much like they're going up in cost. Like, do you think we had stockpiled them before the tariffs?
Oh, yeah, the tariffs, yeah.
I mean, I don't know, because
Probably.
gunpowder's probably cheap. So, like, they
course it
probably...
Do we make that here? I don't know where we make
they
gunpowder.
probably... I don't know. But, yeah, I think there's a lot of late holdover from years and years. So
I think I'm
probably
gonna
a lot.
adapt your attitude and just say, you know what? I'm a fucking American.
Absolutely.
Go for it.
Fuck all this shit. Like, let's go big or go home.
Nah, I'm about to be
Roll
like
the tank down my street. Let's
I'm looking
do
forward
it.
to seeing you in an American flag
military
bikini.
parade. Like,
So let me tell you a fun little story, okay? In Trump's first term, I had a crazy neighbor who knocked down his house and then rebuilt like right up to the property line. This insane house with an insane pool and like waterfalls and spa. Like he was literally trying to
I've been
build.
into their garden. It's beautiful. Is it that one?
No, it's next door.
Oh, right.
He was literally single dude, got divorced, like. You would just see a parade of young women being dropped off. Like
that's
Ubers
what I'm talking about, baby. Divorce life. Let's go.
He was like trying to recreate the Playboy Mansion.
That's right.
And he did.
If I had the funds, I'd do the same thing.
He used to blast music all the time from his backyard. Like that first month he got back into the house and the weather started to warm up. So I remember him playing some really stupid fucking music. So I'm like, let me text this guy and see if I can get him. And I literally, like, just as like shits and giggles, I'm like, how about some Jimmy Buffett? And he puts on Cheeseburger in Paradise, takes a video of himself sitting on a Donald Trump float and sends it to me while he's singing Cheeseburger in Paradise.
I don't know that song, but that sounds terrible.
Everything about it was awful, Julie.
That sounds bad.
Was he just doing that to piss you off? Or did he know you or not?
I don't think he didn't know.
He may
There's
have
no
been-
way he would have
he may-
known. Yeah.
No.
He may have been proud. So someone literally took a photo of themselves on a Trump blow-up thing.
Doll.
Yeah.
Doll.
Yeah.
Okay, that sounds a bit kinky.
Why
but
he
anyway,
has a
yeah.
Trump blow up, I don't know. And why he was sitting on it in his pool, I don't know. But weird shit happens in the burbs.
It does. It does. Well, guys, it's been a pleasure. I do have an ask for all of our followers out there. Please, it is free to subscribe, to like, to follow all of our socials as well as our Point of Disorder podcast. Share it with friends because that's free. And the more you do that, the more chances we have of getting out of Broke Girl Summer alive.
Alive.
That's right.
So-
Podcasting don't pay.
It certainly doesn't. So thank you very much. And we'll see you next Thursday.
And that's a wrap on today's episode of Point of Disorder. We'd like to extend a huge thank you to everyone who listened today. And if you like us, give us a like, a subscribe, or a review on any place you get your podcasts. And don't forget to follow us on social media at Distill Social and at The Guerrilla Politic. This is the Point of Disorder podcast, signing off. Stay sharp, stay progressive, and above all, stay tuned.